Welcome to Focus Washington. I'm Chuck Conconi, and my guest today is Shane DeApril, who is with the Hill paper, covers the political campaigns. Thank you, Shane, for being here with me.
And thanks for having me.
This is going to be a really exciting campaign period. This must be fantastic for you. Do you think any of these people on the Hill are going to get any legislation working now that they're worried about getting reelected?
It's highly doubtful. I mean, President Obama rolled out this idea for more stimulus dollars, $50 billion for infrastructure improvements, small business tax credits. This is something that looks very unlikely to happen before November. Congress comes back, they're going to be extremely gun-shy. Day after day over the past few days, we've seen more and more Democrats come out against this new stimulus money. So that's not going to happen before November.
Well, at his press conference today, the president was sort of asked, what about these Democrats who seem to be running away from you? You running into that as you're around the Hill talking to Democrats?
Oh, absolutely, and we expect more of that. I mean, some of the ads that you've seen, and certainly these are ads coming from Democrats who are running in conservative districts who have got to win centrists. They've got to win Republican voters. They've got to win moderates. They are running against the Obama administration's legislative agenda in some very clear terms in these ads. They're touting their votes against health care. They're touting their votes against the stimulus. If in fact, they voted against those things, and many of them did, who are Democrats in tough districts. So, and the president today said, look, I understand that. I understand that there are going to be members who have to be responsive to the constituents in their district.
What we were talking about, though, too, is that there was a story in the New York Times about how the Democrats have decided they can't support every Democratic candidate for re-election.
Right.
That's unusual.
Yeah, and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, one thing that they've got to decide really in the coming weeks is they've got to decide where do we put our resources, because the committee has a financial advantage over their Republican counterpart. But in such a tough year, if they're going to leverage that properly, they've got to be selective. And you know what you saw right after that article came out, you saw the committee, the chair of the committee, Chris Van Hollen, come back and say, no, we're not pulling our resources from any members. Yeah. We're reassuring our members. But this is something that is absolutely going to happen in a number of districts in the coming weeks, and it has to. Otherwise, Democrats are going to lose that edge.
Have the Republicans peaked?
That's a very interesting question. They certainly hope they haven't. You know, I mean, when we talk to Republican strategists, what we're hearing day after day is they are convinced that the playing field has actually not yet expanded as much as it's going to ahead of November. And obviously that worries Democrats. But, you know, there are also some Republicans who are, I think, now getting to the point of saying perhaps we shouldn't go too far in one direction. And, you know, because there is a danger of trumping up expectations. There is a danger of throwing a number out there in terms of how many seats they're going to gain. And if that doesn't end up happening in November, there's going to be some disappointment. They certainly don't want that.
Tell me what you think is going to happen in two key states and races we're watching, Delaware and Alaska.
Right. Delaware, coming up this Tuesday, you've got a Republican primary in Delaware. You've got Christine O'Donnell, who's a conservative commentator. She's running against Congressman Mike Castle, who's one of the most centrist Republicans in the House. O'Donnell is painting her campaign as, you know, a Tea Party insurgency along the lines of Joe Miller in Alaska, Sharon Angle in Nevada, and she's hoping to capture that energy. It's doubtful. It's more doubtful in Delaware that we're going to see that kind of upset than you know it was in a state like Nevada. Well, Alaska was we didn't expect that either. So you know it's certainly in the realm of possibility. But you get the feeling that Mike Castle will probably be able to hold on Tuesday in Delaware, and that's going to be a big win. Certainly.
What about a write-in in Alaska, though?
Alaska, yeah. Senator Lisa Murkowski, she is considering either an independent write-in bid or she is considering potentially trying to get on the Libertarian Party ballot line. Those are her only two choices. The problem she runs up against is that the National Republican Party is firmly behind Joe Miller. The Republican Senatorial Committee has committed lots of money to his campaign. They've sent top strategists up there to work for him. So she runs the risk of severely dividing the Republican Party if she takes that route.
One quick prediction, because we're running out of time. Your managing editor said on this same show that he thinks that it's a real possibility that the Democrats will hold on to the House. Do you agree to that?
I think I do, and I'll tell you why. Because the Democrats certainly have advantages. One, financial in a number of districts. Two, they've got a ground game in terms of getting out the vote that is tested, proven, and if they can get some of those Obama surge voters out, the folks who voted for the president in 2008, it's very possible they can minimize those losses and keep the House.
Thank you, Shane. This is Shane April, who has been with me from the Hill paper. I'm Chuck Conconi, and this has been Focus Washington.